All right, welcome back. If you just might have noticed, Kevin released a video of his gear loadout, and so now it's my turn. We always joke that we're gonna do it in one video, but there's just way too much gear, and there's way too many non-similarities that there's some important differences to highlight. So that's why we kind of do it in two videos. So before you is just a mishmash of gear that kind of makes up primarily what I use. All right, so just before we go a little bit further, I guess I'll talk about like everything I've used, including some winter stuff, and then like some different quilt options for warmer weather. So let's get started. So I need to clear out some room here. So let's start with the packs. So if I can get away with it, I prefer to use the Light AF Curve 35. The problem is that the Curve 35, I can't fit all my winter gear in it, and so I'll be working with Chris on that. But yes, on our 3-season backpacking trips, I'll be using the Light AF Curve. Lately, I have been using the Z-Packs Arc Haul, which is our tried and true pack. We've been using these for years. Just tremendous solid pack. We always say if you have to buy one pack to fit for every type of situation that you're going to be in, can't recommend the Arc Hauls more. So anyways, I've been in the winter stuff. I cannot physically fit my gear into the Light AF Curve because it's not designed for that. So Arc Haul is my go-to right now, but when it gets warmer, I'll switch over to the Light AF. So that's the packs. Let's talk about shelters. So I'm a hammock camper. I haven't slept on the ground. Actually, Kevin and I were talking about this. The last time I slept on the ground, we did an overnight in Laurel Highlands a few years ago, and I slept in a shelter, and that was the last time I slept on the ground. So it was a few years ago. I can't remember. And before that, I don't even remember. But my hammock right now is the Dutchware Chameleon. And then with their standard beetle buckle suspension and a fancy Dyneema hammock bag. New is the for tarps. We were typically using the Hammock Gear 12-foot hex tarp, which we absolutely love. But now we got our hands on the Light AF 12-foot tarp with doors, which is fantastic. I've done 2 nights with it so far. Looking forward to using it a lot more. It's about 3 to 4 ounces more than the hammock gear setup, but you get the doors and you get a lot more coverage. So if that's your thing and you don't mind the weight, then seems like it's going to be a solid option. I'm loving it right now. Okay, so still in the arsenal, it's not going anywhere, is the Helinox Chair Zero with the Light AF Dyneema chair bag. Chris is making these in runs now, and the reason he's making them is because he's getting tired of people requesting them. He originally never wanted to produce these. He just kind of did these as a favor for us. But yeah, we got the ultralight chair bag for our Chair Zeros, and it saves a whopping 0.4 ounces. So tremendous weight savings right there on the ultralight chair bag. So cool. Just to clear stuff off of the table, let's move into water storage. So you guys see me all the time. I just use this plastic water bottles, the Smart Water. I got a Life Water one. I carry between 2 to 3 liters of these, depending on where we're going, the water situation. I like to have a smaller water bottle as well that fits in my shoulder strap. These 1 liters don't fit in there. And then for water filtration, get into it here. Just a Sawyer squeeze with a scoop cup, just to cut down water bottle. Gotta have the scoop cup. And then I've got a 2-liter Sawyer dirty water bag, and that's because I've now broken 2 of the Evernew 2-liter bags. I've popped 2 of them, so now I'm just buying cheap bags. We had some of the 2-liter Sawyers lying around, so just using that for dirty water. So typically, if I'm carrying dirty water plus clean water, like if you're you want to transport all your camp water, or you're doing a long carry, I have at least the capacity to carry 4 liters of water on me. Next, let's just talk about some miscellaneous random bags that I've got lying on the table. I use a pack liner to keep my insulation, my down, dry, and my spare clothes and whatever else needs to be dry. I use the Nylaflume pack liner. Been using these for a while now. Lightsmith sells them. I think they're $2 to $3 a piece. I think I've changed them out. I ordered originally 3, like, I don't know, over a year ago. I've thrown out 1. I've got 2 left. So I like it. Works fine. It's not something I would trust if I was going to be hiking in heavy pouring rain throughout the entire day. I would probably beef it up with maybe like a Dyneema bag, but just for the occasional rain and pair this with a Dyneema pack, it's good to go. I have 3 different food bag options on here just to highlight how many freaking food bags that we have. I generally use the Light AF food bags just because I like the size, and I've had this one for a while. I've also got the Z-Packs food bag, and I've got some great options from Hilltop bags. Of course, I've got my Hilltop packs, I should say. Of course, I've got my face bag, which is always hilarious to bring. Just the size of the food bag, I guess, just depends on the length of the trip, where we're going, that type of thing. But a lot of cool options there. So behind me are all these are actually these are actually all my quilts. So it just depends on the temperature. I've got brand new. I've never used it before. I'll be using it this weekend. Brand new. I've got a 0 degree UGQ top quilt, the Bandit. Just got it. My wife got it for me for Christmas. I've been like laying around the house with it, and I put this thing on and I immediately start sweating. I've also got an Enlightened Equipment 20 degree Revelation, which I've been using forever. Fantastic. This 20 degree that's primarily what I do, like 99% of my, well, I guess 100%, because I've never used a 0 degree. So this is what I've done 100% of my backpacking with. Well, I did a summer trip with a Costco quilt, but I've also got a Hammock Gear Econ down burrow. This is a 10 degree one. I wish I would have been smart enough and got a 0 degree, but I wasn't as smart at the time. So that's a 10 degree under quilt. And then I've also got a 20 degree under quilt from Enlightened Equipment, the Revolt, which is like 90% of my backpacking right now is using the 20 degree underquilt. With the last few trips I've been using the 10 degree. All right, so speaking of underquilts down, I've been using the 2Q ZQ underquilt protector. It keeps wind and moisture off of your underquilt. Weighs a few ounces, of course. I think I'm pretty sold on this because I'm a cold sleeper, so having the extra bit of wind protection and holding a little bit more heat in, I think I've noticed a difference there. A few weeks ago, we went to Red River Gorge, and I didn't take it, and I had a cold night, which was kind of weird. But we were up on a ridge, and it was kind of windy, so I think I noticed a difference with it out it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep using the underquilt protector at least through this cold weather stuff, and then I can go back in the gear closet. But I'm pretty sold on this underquilt protector. You see a lot of them out there. Another fun little fun tool that I've been bringing lately, especially on the cold weather stuff, is the Sawviver. They don't make these anymore. I actually bought this in Canada at an outfitter years ago when I was up there for a trip. It's just a collapsible folding camp saw. Has the blade inside of it, and yeah, it's been a good saw. And then you screw in the blade like that. And I've never replaced the blade. I should probably do that. I actually I used this saw for a while, for a few years, and then I stopped using it. And just like a little bit more recently, we started using it again. And mainly on the winter stuff, just because you get to camp so early because of you know, how little light you have in the winter. And it's just nice to have a campfire, and it's nice to have an easy way to process wood. So, yeah, I've been taking it lately. Okay, pillow. This is just a Dutchware pillow. Nothing special. I forget what they call it. Those of you in the hammock know you don't really need much of a pillow at all. You can get away without a pillow. You can sleep in a hammock without a pillow because sometimes you have enough support. I like a tiny bit of a pillow, and this is perfect. This is exactly the size that works for me. I've been nothing but satisfied with this pillow. It's just I have some inflatable pillows and stuff, but this is just all you need. I'm boring when it comes to my cook kits because pretty much 90% of the time it's the same. I've just had the same cook kit for years. It's the Trail Designs F-Keg Caldera Cone that I've modified a little bit. So I've got, when you buy the Caldera Cone keg systems, they come with like a plastic tube that unscrews, so then you have like 2 plastic cups, and then the whole thing sits inside of it. I have half of that too, that cup that I use as like a plastic camp cup. I made a koozie for it, so like that. And then also like I can drink coffee out of this plastic cup. It's kind of cool too because you can take your like if I'm just eating out of like a freezer bag, I can put the freezer bag in the koozie, just sit it in there right now, or I can have long-lasting warm coffee in the morning, and then everything nests. So I don't know, it's great. And then I keep like a measuring cup for alcohol, a mini Bic. I keep a little piece of a microfiber towel just to kind of clean up either my mug or the pot or something, get moisture off of it. And then a long-handled spoon, of course. And then this is actually the Caldera Cone, the windscreen that the pot, which is literally just a modified Foster's beer can, sits on top of it. Nests on top of this. And then the lid. Yeah. And then I also have a bottle of fuel with some Luco tape wrapped around it. Depending on the length of the trip, where we're going, I might take more, I might take less fuel. Just all depends. All depends. Next on the list is steaks. I need 4 steaks for my hammock setup. Just 4. I think I have a few more than I normally have just because we've been taking a spare tarp every once in a while. But I got a different plethora of steaks just from wanting to try out a lot of different random stuff. Most of these are like groundhog knockoffs. This is an MSR groundhog. I think. No. This is the Dutchware one. This is a Dutchware steak. I think. I don't remember. No, these are groundhogs. Yeah, these are groundhogs. And then I've got a Dutchware. Yeah, it says Dutchware on it. Dutchware kind of groundhog lookalike. So I got 3 of those. And then I've got this like needle steak, this punch steak or whatever, which is pretty awful, to be honest. I'm going to do what Kevin did, and I'm just going to buy 4 mini groundhogs and call it a day and stop this bananas of trying now all these random steaks. Okay, some other random stuff. I've got a Toiletries bag. I've got toilet paper. I've got hand sanitizer. I've also got some gosh, I forget what it's called. I think it's called vitamin A and D ointment, like anti-chafing ointment. Basically, you could use Vaseline or something like that. I've also got the Deuce of Spades trowel. So yeah, that's just the Toiletries kit. And then let's move on. So I've got this Light AF zippered Dyneema pouch, which is just like my random stuff. Everybody's got a random bag of stuff. So let's go through it real quick. I got a Z-Pax toothbrush with toothpaste. Got mini Bic. I've got some pills, just primarily ibuprofen, Tylenol, and allergy pills. Everybody makes fun of me because in all of our trip videos, I'm always blowing my nose. I don't know what it is. I guess I have bad allergies. I don't know. I've also got a Dyneema first aid kit pouch that Chris makes. This is zippered from Light AF. In the first aid pouch, I've got random stuff like I've got a mini compass. I've got some fire starters, just some cotton-soaked Vaseline balls. I've got a tiny little thing of chapstick. I've got various meds additional to these, like anti-diarrheal, stuff like that. I've got my knife, which is just a razor blade, which works great for opening up mountain houses and cutting Leuco tape. That's the only blade I really carry. I've got some extra Leuco tape. This stuff is so good. I've got earplugs in case maybe one night when we're traveling, we're staying at a Airbnb or something and you can hear everybody snoring. So, and then I've got some Dyneema tape, some repair tape as well. So that's kind of basically my first aid. Yeah, I think meds, tape, and a piece of gauze. Oh, and there's some alcohol wipes in there. That pretty much covers it from what I like to carry from a first aid perspective. Additionally, I've got the NU20 headlamp. We always call these the NU25s, but we're wrong. The NU20 headlamp from Nightcore. Got these from Lightsmith, where they make the shock cord headband. Been nothing but satisfied with these things, and they're cheap. Additionally, I got a pair of headphones, and left over from my last trip, I had a vitamin that I hadn't taken. So, yeah, so that's in the miscellaneous. And then moving on to other miscellaneous, I have kind of a camera miscellaneous pouch. It's not going to have it in here right now, but I keep spare batteries in here, and this is just a Dyneema zippered pouch from Light AF. But I keep spare batteries. I have a lens cloth, and then I also keep a large Ziploc bag in case I need to waterproof the camera as well. Sometimes when we're getting shots and the camera's sitting, it might be raining. I'll just put this over the camera while it's sitting out. So just some spare camera gear, but I mean our camera equipment is pretty minimal. Some other random stuff. I always carry a bandana. It's mainly for blowing my nose. I carry a piece of sham cloth for keeping my dishes dry or wiping things down, but I don't need a full-size one. I have some bear line here. This came with my Light AF food bag. It's whatever bear line Chris gives it includes. I don't know what it is. It's 50 foot of... it feels kind of waxy. Maybe it's cyanide. I don't know. It's fine. It's 50 feet of cord that I use as my bear line. Usually keep that directly in my food bag. There's been a lot of hate lately in our backpacking circle of Gossamer Gear trekking poles, specifically the LT5s. These are the LT4s, the Gossamer Gear LT4 trekking poles I've had for years and years and years and years and years. I've been nothing but satisfied with these poles. And that's not to say that the people that have had issues with the LT5s aren't serious. Like, I saw Kevin's issue and it was kind of disappointing. I've had these for so long. I've replaced the tips on them. But besides that, I haven't really done anything else to them. They're so fantastic. And at one point I was going to get the LT5s because it'd be nice for these to be able to collapse a little bit further. But I'm just going to keep rolling with these. If I need to get another pair of trekking poles, I'll probably get the Cascade Mountain Tech, the carbon fiber ones. And then I keep my Ultrapod for my camera, which is like our tripod. I keep the Ultrapod. I have like a rubber band on the side and it just keeps lashed to it. And then so I can quickly access my Ultrapod, set up my camera if we want to do any cool walk-by shots or something like that. So that's the Ultrapod. So yeah, that's the Ultrapod and my trekking poles. Gossamer Gear LT4s. Some other random stuff I've got here. I've got the Goose Feet Gear Down Booties. These come on cold weather stuff. I would, on 3 season, I'll bring this stuff too, of course. They're lighter than like a spare pair of sleeping socks and way warmer. And then I forget which ones these are, but Goat got me turned onto these. These are the outer shells for the Goose Feet Gear Down Booties, and these have the rubberized sole. And additionally, I actually put it comes with like a piece of foam inside of it for for insulation, and so you have something to when you're walking, you're not feeling all the ground. But I actually added some just generic Amazon what do they call those insoles, winter insoles into these as well, which is basically just another piece of foam. I haven't used these at all in the last like 4 or 5 months. I just take them just in case because I'm really freaked out when it comes to winter about my feet getting wet and then not having something dry at camp to walk around in. So I have been taking these. I haven't been using them because my feet have been staying wonderfully dry, which has been great. And then just kind of like the last miscellaneous item that I'll probably touch upon these when we talk about clothes, but I do have some rain gloves. So yeah, that's it. Drop a comment, talk about how terrible my gear is, or what you would do differently, or maybe you have some tips or something that I'm not aware of. This stuff's been working out pretty well. I'm excited to continue using all this gear this year. So talk to everybody later, and we'll see you on the trail.